Herm and Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri starts right now. First of all, welcome back, everybody. That was a long Christmas break. I'm not so sure about that. Kenny, that's the first topic. I mean, was that too long?
It's the same time every year. Christmas is takes the same amount of time.
Well, they need to shorten it. That was ridiculous. I mean, my God. And here's what I noticed, Kenny, is everybody gets those gift certificates for Christmas, right? And they're off work. So what's the first thing they do? They go and they use those gift certificates at every restaurant, and you can't get in anywhere. All right, buddy. Well, first of all, welcome back, everybody. Last time we talked to you was, well before Christmas. And so, Kenny, what have you been up to?
We, both kids, Dorothy and Sheldon, and Dorothy's husband, Grant, and their little boy, Ford, came in week before Christmas. I think we did a show that week, early, then week before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then they were here for a couple days, didn't get to stay long, but it was a great visit. And then we did some family stuff Christmas, and then we left 27th and went to our little week in Florida. We all did. I think there was like 27 people. We've done it every year for 20-something years. And got home right before all the weather started hitting. Got home night, so Sunday morning everything started getting funky around here. So that's it. Today is first Saturday after New Year, or first Monday after New Year's is kind of like when the real year starts.
Yeah.
And nothing around here is starting today just because of weather.
Yeah. We talking about what Kenny Schrader's talking about right now. All of us here in St. Louis, we are race car drivers, everybody, but we got a lot of ice and it's 20 degrees outside. So, we can go out there and play race car driver, but the odds aren't against us right now. So, yeah, we're somewhat snowed in here. Okay. So me, we had good time with the family. I think one of my highlights was we went downtown St. Louis to Union Station, and we got us a room that fit the complete family. We had a nice dinner. There's 13 of us, and I'm not into his green bad luck or his 13 bad luck, but I'm like, need to have one more kid, 13 of us in one room. It was a good time. Then, Kenny, down there at Union Station, they got the big Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round. It's a lot of fun. That was a big highlight for me. Had a really good time, and pretty much stayed home. Didn't go anywhere. Hey, I want to go back to something you told me off the air. Our last show that everybody listened to, the last Herm and Schrader show. You did it from where was that at, Nebraska?
Greenwood, Nebraska, right east of Lincoln.
SNS?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welding that builds the big haulers.
Yeah. Now, did you buy? My point is this: did you buy another hauler?
Yeah, the guys at SNS, Jeff. I had one that it's an 05, really nice, less than 100,000 miles.
Wow.
It's more truck than I probably need, but because we're just using it for the dirt car only. We're not taking two cars instead of using a dually, but you can pull over the side of the road and sleep and everything. Take a shower, nice bathroom. So, yeah, we're excited about it.
Little birdie told me that you are in good company. Rusty's in good company. Big brother Rusty Wallace bought a brand new big time Featherlight, spent big money. So that's out there. Big brother Rusty Wallace bought a nice expensive motorhome.
a new Prevost, probably that Featherlight converted.
I think so. And of course, he hasn't told me, but Steven has. So everybody's buying everything. I guess I need to go out and buy something. I don't know what I need, but I'll figure it out. Okay, Kenny, we are going to start the show with NASCAR hot topics like we always do. And I want to give a disclaimer from my point of view. I am sorry that we have to bring this up again because, but listen, it's like Larry McReynolds say, we beaten it like a dead horse. But I think NASCAR would be upset if we didn't bring it up because they're talking about it too. Since our Christmas break, NASCAR has been losing in the courtroom. And so you and I don't get in any trouble. We're just going to read what Front Row Motorsport and 2311 have to say. That'll get you and I off the hook.
Not on the hook because I'm not saying anything, but you go ahead.
Okay. All right, here it is, everybody. First of all, I will tell you, NASCAR has been losing in the courtroom since we did the last Herm and Schrader show. And this statement is from Jeffrey Kessler. He is the attorney for Front Row in 2311. And this is what it says. We welcome today's decision by Judge Bell to deny NASCAR's motion to stay, which will allow 2311 and Front Row Motorsports to compete as chartered teams in the 2025 season and enable Front Row Motorsports to complete their purchase of a third charter from Stewart-Haas Racing. Today's decision represents an important step in advancing my client's case against NASCAR and their monopolistic practices while protecting the drivers, race team sponsors, and the fan experience. We are confident in the strength of our case and will continue to fight for a more competitive and fair sport for everyone involved in the coming year. And that is from Jeffrey Kessler, their attorney. So basically, the judge said, okay, NASCAR, you have to give them a charter. And the judge, now, of course, NASCAR's appealing it. However, here's the other statement that I want to read. This is from Front Row. Front Row Motorsports has finalized the purchase of our third charter from Stewart-Haas Racing. And of course, their announcement was Noah Gragson in the number 4. That was from Jerry Freeze. So here, I'm going to go first. Whether we agree with anything, they've moved on as if they got the charter. So it's a lot. And 2311 has not stated yet that they purchased their charter, but Front Row has. And I guess you don't have anything to say.
Well, could you tell I was leaving you hanging?
Yeah, because if you're watching on YouTube, your neck is kind of hidden.
Well, you made me turn my heater off because it was too loud.
What do you think?
I think that I knew this was going to come up. So I already had my disclaimer is I don't give a care for our sport. It's a big deal, but I'm just going to sit back and watch because not involved in the least bit. I'm glad that Stewart-Haas looks like they're going to be able to go ahead and sell their charters like they had planned, so that won't leave them hanging. But we'll just wait and see what happens because, hey, we can talk about all we want. We're not involved. Not going to be involved in any of the decisions either.
And like I had brought up earlier, don't you know our buddy Tony Stewart, he'll be excited to get his part because we felt like there were 75,000 or 75 million. Oh my God, what am I thinking? They're saying 25 million per charter. So Stewart-Haas has 2 or 3 of them to sell, and so that's a lot of money, right? Okay, so just to put this to bed, Front Row has the new car, number 4, Noah Gragson, Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland. So front row has 3 Cup cars. And boy, now this is a joke that I'm going to say. Front row's doing so bad that they also have 2 truck teams. Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs. 2311 Kenny, of course, they have their 2 normal, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and the new one is Riley Herbst. So now I haven't seen any announcement from 2311 saying we bought that charter, but I'm sure that's going to come. Okay, I think this next. Okay, we're done with that, everybody.
Good.
Yeah. NASCAR hot topic number 2. Bowman Gray, the All-Star race, or the Clash, excuse me. We have a sponsor for the Bowman Gray Clash. You set quick time a lot in NASCAR. Do you remember how many clashes you were in?
No, we won a couple, but I don't know how many I was in.
That's big.
It was Busch Clash and Bud Shootout then.
Yeah, they keep changing the name of it. I think that's why I called it All-Star at first. Now we're back to the Clash. So anyway.
Could be the Crash.
See, that's why Kenny Schrader's so witty.
It won't be a ton of cars involved, but there'll be a ton of cars stopped.
Oh, my God.
It'll be blocked. Now, that might be blocked with 2 or 3 cars, but it'll still be blocked.
Yeah. Bowman Gray is small. And,
yeah, it's small, but look at where they were at, and they raced there. No matter what you think, the Clash at Daytona, the Bud Shootout, whatever it was. It was packed and stuff. But people quit coming to the Clash. So they trying some other stuff. Believe me, I'm going to have my TV on for Saturday and Sunday that weekend to watch everything going on at Bowman Gray, because it's going to be exciting and the place is going to be packed. So it's great.
So first of all, you made me laugh. That it's worth repeating by me. Kenny Schrader, in a fun way, said it's going to be called the Cookout Crash.
No, but I mean,
I loved it.
those cars are apparently they're pretty tough.
They are.
So they're going to be replacing those the links or whatever they're always replacing and body pieces. But it's not like you're going to be throwing cars away. When we used to run it, you just figured you weren't coming home with your, 1 or 2 guys were going to come home with their same car and use it again. But when you went to Daytona, you knew you were going to lose a car. You planned on using, as far as your rotation and everything, you planned on something's not coming back. A lot of guys will lose 2 or 3 cars down there.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I never thought about that. When because your ball's at a wall. There's 2 to go. Okay, buddy. This Clash. Pays a lot of money, and then of course the big one. But Cookout is the sponsor. That's what we're announcing. But I like our conversation. It's called the Cookout Clash. Have you ever been to a cookout restaurant?
Yes. And when Sheldon was littler, we'd go by. If we were out, we'd go by there at nighttime and just get a small shake, and we wouldn't ask. They always, best I remember, they always had a shake of the day, because they had a whole bunch of milkshakes, right?
Yeah.
That's Cookout.
Yeah, and there's one on Bruton Smith Boulevard, I think, there in Concord.
We'd go there and we just pull up and order 2 shakes of the day. We wouldn't ask what they were, because that's just what we were.
One thing I really like is on Saturday. Okay, let's tell the dates, Kenny. Saturday, February 1st, invitation only. The modifieds, the asphalt modifieds. Now, Bobby Labonte's going to be in this. This is where they race. This is going to be them on a big stage.
It's a little stage.
Yeah, they're going to be on TV.
Yeah. It'll be on some big screens, but still a little stage.
Yeah. And then of course the next day, Sunday, February 2nd, is the cup race itself. But another thing to bring up is just a reminder to all of us. Okay, there's 36 charters. I'm not assuming 36 are going to go because the race is only going to start 22 because that's the way it was at the LA Coliseum.
Does your charter agreement say you have to go?
Yeah, good point. Respond right here.
That's another thing we don't know, but I know that there was always a lot of cars that didn't qualify at the Coliseum.
Yeah. So 36 charters. I agree with Kenny Schrader. Let us know. How many think are going? Will everybody go? I'm not thinking they will. I'm thinking they'll maybe 30 show.
Oh, what the charter agreement says.
Oh, that they have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Okay.
They're going to guarantee you this money for the year. There are going to be a lot of people go home.
Yeah. But the charter agreement could say you have to show up, even though you think you might miss the race. But okay, well, that's exciting. And boy, they're doing upgrades. Tell me about the upgrades you see out there at Bowman Gray.
I don't really know what all they were doing. I know they were putting in safer barriers. Did I read that?
Yep. What do you think the speed is going to be at the Clash? What do you think top speed's going to be? 60 mile an hour?
I don't know. When they came up with that car, they took one up there and played with it. Or I guess when they took it up there and played with it when they were going to the Coliseum.
Right.
So, that information's out there somewhere, but it doesn't make any difference. A lot of people ask a lot of times, but how fast you go there?
Right.
Well, you got a circle, whether it's a fifth mile, quarter mile, or 2 mile, and you go around it as fast as you can. So you're going as fast as you can, whether it's 210 or 65. It's as fast as you can.
When I was a kid, I was always fascinated that, I'd watch you and Rusty race at the Milwaukee Mile. And I thought, oh my God, they are flying. And I think it was average speed of 126, 130 something. I'm like, no, I want the trap speed. I want because people are fascinated with 200 mile an hour at Daytona or Talladega. Okay, NASCAR hot topic number 3. My brother Mike Wallace, at 65 years old, is going to attempt to make the Daytona 500. If Mike were to make the race, we're leaving him wiggle room because we're saying he's attempting. If he does make it, he would be, unbelievably, he would be the second oldest driver because Mark Thompson started the Daytona 500 in 2018 at 66 years old. What are your thoughts about, I know how much you love Mike. He drove for you. We're family. What's your thoughts?
More power to him. If he wants to go run that race, I mean, I'd love to go run that race. And you can't tell me that you wouldn't if if the right opportunity presented itself. He's going to have an uphill battle just because it's a smaller team. And the way to go run that race if you're not a charter team is be with one of the guys, the teams, and you lay down that qualifying time, and then you fall back on that time, and you don't have to worry about it. Your brother is, he is the top of the list as far as super speedway drafting. I mean, he's right there. But smaller team. He hasn't driven these cars. He'll adapt. It just, everything. He's got a lot of things lined up against him, but it could also, if he gets in, if he does qualify, it wouldn't be like, how in the hell did that happen? Like Carl Long, like you said, everybody got the same race car now.
Yeah.
Basically, they got the same frame and the bolt arm stuff, they got the same bodies. I don't know how much goes on there or not. I know there's something's got to go on, but it's very, very minute. And he's going with the Roush Yates engine. So, in a lot of ways, it might be simpler now. I don't know. It's a hell of a task, but I think Mike will do his part. That's for sure.
Of course, I helped Mike announce it, but there was an article that came out, and I liked what Mike said when he. So what had happened was Rusty grabbed my mom and Mike, and they went to the peninsula, and they, had a bonding Christmas, luncheon. And brother Mike said he knew this would be big, telling Rusty, because Rusty's, no crap. Rusty's dead serious, calls bull crap on everything. But Mike said Rusty looked at him and said, "You know what? I'd love to race too, but my eyes are no good anymore." And I thought that was really cool of Rusty kind of, at least saying that, not downing him.
It could have been a beat down session.
Well, we all know Rusty will beat you down. I mean, that's his specialty.
But no, hey, I think it's neat. I mean, what else I think? 65 is not that old.
Yeah. Boy, you know what? We just keep going. And that's another subject for another day. I'll just leave it with that. And you've already heard this story a lot. But when I looked at the great Don Perdome and the great Walker Evans, 12-time off-road truck champion, I said, "Hey, guys, I'm thinking about, quitting racing at 60. Both of them came out of their lawn chairs and yelled at me, "No!" And Perdome said, "Kenny, I miss drag racing so much." So
Yeah.
I'm with you, Kenny Schrader. Let Mike be Mike, and let him. Yeah, I'm going to be cheering him on. Okay, Kenny Schrader, boy, do we got a lot to get to in dirt racing. They have been racing their butt off. I'm just going to set you up real quick. We're switching to dirt racing, everybody. Kenny, let's go over to Perth Motorsports Plex over in Australia. Kyle Larson wins $100,000. I'm going to stop right there instead of saying everything.
What's the exchange rate over there?
Yep. He's already counting the money, everybody.
Well, no, what's the exchange rate?
I don't know. Respond right here, everybody. If Kyle Larson won $100,000, he passed James McFadden with 9 to go. James was going to sweep. He won the first 2.
I watched them.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you saw.
Just real good races down under. I mean, a lot of support over there. There's a lot of people there. It wasn't packed, but the place seats a lot of people. So Larson was good. I mean, oh, what a surprise.
Okay, this is funny what I'm going to... So everybody's watching on YouTube. I'm going to Italy January 17th through the 27th because I want to see Italy.
You can look it up you can look at all that stuff online.
I got to look at it. I got to see it. So here's the point I'm getting to about Australia. I asked for a globe. Hold on. Okay, here's my globe that my mother-in-law got me.
Yep.
Okay. Now I know why they call Australia down under. When you look at the globe, Australia is like at the bottom of underneath the globe. So that right there, that's Australia.
Yeah.
It is down under.
Is that your first time you've been around the globe much, Kenny?
Pretty much.
When I drove for Nick Gomrick, he always said a globe was the only way you really know where you're at. As far as, at atlases and stuff, but with a globe, you can really tell where you're at.
You can really, yeah. So, okay. We just talked about Kyle Larson winning the 100,000. We said James McFadden, that's a hometown hero. And James has been running high limit. He won the first 2. Kyle Larson passed him with 9 to go. And second was McFadden. Kenny, have you ever heard of Callum Williamson? He run third.
Not right offhand.
Okay, then fourth was Brad Sweet. Fifth was Dane Kingshot. But I will say this, down the list were quite a few high limit drivers. I mean, I wonder how many high limit drivers went over. Quite a lot, actually. But,
yeah, and there's always a lot of U.S. drivers go over there, even before it was. This is the first year it was a high limits race, and I do believe. I don't think it was points or anything. And most everybody goes over there and drives equipment from over there, which I think the car Kyle won, if I understand everything I think I read. The gentleman that normally drives it got out of it for Kyle. So Kyle obviously adapted and got her done.
So I'm glad you said that. You just helped me out a lot here. I want your thoughts on that. I have it right here. Jason Pride, Pryde, Jason Pride Motorsports. Now he's a gamer, and he's versatile. He runs road course on asphalt.
Yep.
And as you said, and I want to ask you this, he gave up his sprint car for Kyle Larson to drive in Australia. What do you think that's like? I mean, he's a good Jason, because Kyle Larson bragged on him. He said, "Man, that's pretty cool." Jason Pride gave his sprint car up. You think that's pretty big?
Yeah. Well, you don't know any of the circumstances. What kind of financial arrangement they had, anything. I think the sponsorship on it was from over there. So I don't know, but he's a good racer. He getting out for 2 nights or 3 nights. I don't think Kyle ran the first night.
Yeah.
Did he?
I don't know.
He gets out. I think he missed first night. He ran second, third night.
Yeah.
But I had no problem getting out of my car for
a hero
or two, but to put a hero in.
Yeah, I got out of my mod for Tony Stewart one night at Volusia. So, okay, and High Limit is going back there, Kenny, in 2025, and they're going to up it 10 grand. It's going to pay 110,000 to win. Okay, so that is hot topic number 1 for dirt racing, and I know you and I have got a lot to say about this next one. Now we're going to get to Vado here in a minute, but we can't skip over the Tulsa Shootout. I'm going to let you go first. That Tulsa Shootout was awesome. What's your thoughts?
All the different classes were, they had good races in all of them. The race, the one at the end, non-wing with Larson and Bell. It just shows how screwed up we all are. We all are because of racers. Christopher Bell could not have been more happy, and rightfully so.
Happiest I've ever seen him.
Yeah, as he was holding up his $2,500 check. So tell me again how much the money really means. It doesn't mean nothing.
And Kyle Larson flies from Australia over there to be back. So
yeah.
But
we didn't go to the shootout. We didn't go to the Chili Bowl a couple years ago because it didn't pay enough.
Yes, that's what Andy Petrie says. We're going to de-bull this right now.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but Emmett Hahn, Lanny Edwards was there for the get-go. Lanny passed away, but the Hahn and the Edwards family, what they have done there. 87 Chili Bowl started. I don't know when the micros were added, the 2 weeks before, but 1,500 and something cars there.
1,789, almost 1,800. New record.
Yeah, but I think some of them cars were running multiple classes.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It don't make any difference. 1,500, 1,800. What the hell?
There was only 1,000 cars there.
And that's like they're adding $10,000 to win, in Australia. What the hell? You think the guy's going to be that much happier, or it's going to be a that much bigger deal because it pays 110 instead of 100? 100's a big deal. Take that other 10 grand, add it back to non-qualifiers or something to get more cars. The winner leaves happy regardless.
Kenny, before we get to Vado, let's just stay here for a minute because you've given me some great material. Let's, listen, for the love of the sport, we've always joked our whole lives. How much money did you spend on your dirt car? We don't want to know. All we know is the only way we can do this is with sponsorship. Just talk for a minute from your point of view, the love of the sport. I love what you said. Because you're right. They wouldn't go to the Chili Bowl. Kyle Larson said, "I'm on strike. I want them to pay more money. I'm not racing the Chili Bowl." But here he flies from Australia to Tulsa for $2,500 to win.
Well, yeah, but he's running 4 classes. He could have maybe left there with $7,000 or something. Plus, whatever. I bet he sold a T-shirt or 4.
Yeah, what the love of the sport.
It's just. I mean, yeah. It's just that's why I do it. It's just, yeah.
And we all go get the money. They I hear that Kenny Schrader and Kenny Wallace, they got their NASCAR ties, but listen, those guys, you got Eddie Petroff, you got Hoker. There's big money, and these drivers go do the same thing we do. They go and get that money too. So it ain't like everybody's poor out there. They're all going to get the money so they can do what they love to do. Is my point of view.
Yeah. What's screwed up about our sport is it just costs so much to do it.
Yeah.
I know. I hear about these families that they're taking the kids to all these baseball tournaments or softball tournaments or whatever, and yeah, that gets expensive. But we got to take all our stuff and people and equipment there. So I don't know. It's just love of the sport.
One last thing.
As long as you can justify it, right? You're the only one that's got to be able to justify it to yourself.
That's what the great Dick Trickle said. My boy, while he's taking a drink of that coffee and puffing one last cigarette, Dick Trickle would say, "My boy, as long as you can justify it. We don't need to have a crowd saying, should we do this or not? It's like, as long as you can justify it, you don't need to have the approval. However, when I go to do some questionable things, I do talk to you to see how messed up I am." Yes. Okay.
You're not messed up as long as you know you are.
Right. So, people are saying they listen to us, Kenny. So therefore, I like to, give you the top 5, and then you can give a shout out. But so Christopher Bell wins the non-wing, the big race, 55 laps. Of course, Kyle Larson is side by side with him, coming to the checker. So it's a photo finish, and Bell barely comes back off the moisture and drag races him, and Bell does win it, but it is a photo finish.
Yeah, well, Kyle got there doing Kyle things, and he's
God.
The cushion was 45 up to the wall.
Old Belleville. Yeah.
Yeah, 45.
Yeah.
So he was running, getting in the cushion. You can't run against it with the right rear very good that way, but he was getting in with the right sides. It was just heck of a race. But biggest thing on that weekend is just the track prep.
Yeah.
And good they know that place, and that knew that at the end of 55 laps, or not the end of 55 laps, but halfway through, they were going to have what they wanted for a racetrack. And everybody in that thing. There's so many people that did good. I text Kyle Busch yesterday because Brexton won his race.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and he's he's holding up the $1,000 check. Holding up $1,000 check. How many hours of airplanes and stuff and trucks and trailers we use to do that? But it doesn't make any difference. Brexton won it. He's working on it all year, and Brexton really, really looked good. And you could tell how proud Kyle and Samantha were, and they should be. Hell, I'm not even involved, and I was proud of them.
Let me add that in just about 30 seconds here. Let's go to the kids in about 30 seconds. So Larson runs second. Emerson Axum runs third. Oh my gosh, Ricky Thornton fourth, and KJ Snow fifth. To me, Ricky Thornton, I mean, we didn't know how talented he is, but he is doing the Kenny Schrader, Tony Stewart deal. It seems like Ricky Thornton wants to be like you and Tony. The super late model is not enough. He wants to run an open wheel. Is he running the Chili Bowl?
Yes, he is, because I heard him in one of his interviews. He said yes, he was there last week to get more seat time for next or 2 weeks.
Yeah, you and Tony made it famous. Along, of course, AJ Foyt was before you guys driving everything. But what's your thoughts just on Ricky?
Back in the day, a lot of people drove everything.
Mm-hmm.
First off, nothing paid, so you had to drive everything, to make a living,
make it add up.
Yeah, but, it's just different times now. But there's some guys still want to do it.
Okay, I want to end the shootout like this. Steven Snyder, okay, was the show. Now, okay, Steven pulls off the racetrack and Flo shows his right rear flat. Okay, now, respond right here. But when Steven Snyder comes off the racetrack, his right rear is sitting on the wheel. And then people say, well, his motor went bad. So did both things happen at the same time? What do you know about Steven Snyder?
Is that the kid that was leading?
Yeah, I mean, he was gone.
Yeah.
Was it a flat tire or was it a motor? I don't know.
I don't know.
Go ahead and talk about his driving.
Well, drove around, and then you see, and I don't have a clue, but just looked like, it's like, oh, hell, what am I doing now? And, he stumbled a little bit.
Turn one, he biked pretty hard. He got the right rear end first.
But and those guys said it, when they interviewed him. He said, oh, we didn't have him. He went, and he was gone. But he didn't get the 55 laps done first.
I want to, for all the dirt racers out there that know everything, that's my smart ass coming out of me. So, Kenny, when we watch the greats run the high side, you look at somebody like a Mike Harrison in the mods, Bobby Pierce. It seems like they run the high side, but they don't ever run their tire into the wall. So it seems like there is an art. My question to you is, there's running the high side, then there's running the tire into the wall. They flatten the tire. Listen, I admire your skills. So what is the deal with protecting the right rear tire so it won't go flat? Some drivers try to run like Pearson, they flatten the right rear tire. Snyder's right rear went flat. Larson's did not. Was that luck?
Well, I don't. I can't answer that.
Okay.
The more times you hit stuff, the better chance you have of getting a flat.
That's my point. If you're going to run the high side, and I'm being nice about this, if you're going to run the high side, you can't hit the wall. You just got to run the high side.
Yeah, but if you watch those guys at Tulsa, the wall gets hit a lot. Gets hit going down straightaway too.
Yeah, boy, that's a good point. That front straightaway is brutal.
Yeah, so just a great event.
Yeah. good job, Steven Snyder. Hell of a show. Good job, Steven Snyder. You're a great race car driver. Just wanted to bring up that, pivotal moment where, he comes off the racetrack, the right rear's flat, and then it's like, oh no, his motor went bad. I'm like, his right rear's flat. What do you mean? So maybe it was both at maybe it was the perfect storm.
Well, it was a perfect storm. It had been a screwed up storm.
Yeah, it was a bad storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, we're still going on dirt racing. Is it called Vado or Vado?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful facility.
And you've raced there and you've won there.
We've won there. Royal Jones built it. I guess it's been active maybe 3 years now. It's a beautiful facility. Yeah. And this Western, the shootout, grown and grown. So, 50-something cars in each class, right at 50 in each class. They have the super lates, like a USRA modified, and then a X mod, which is a little bit more limited mod. But I just saw last night, I know Pierce won. He didn't win Friday. He won Saturday and Sunday. But what a great race last night. Little Shepherd led it, got the lead. They had 4 of them or 5 of them were in a pile for a long time. Little Shepherd got lead runner at the bottom, and then top started coming back in. And at the same time, they caught lap cars. So it was a good show.
Yeah. Shepherd is relying on the cushion at the end. Bobby's running the bottom somewhat. And, I'm talking with you. They're waving the white flag, and there's a lap car right in front of Brandon Shepherd, and he can't run the cushion. Now he's got to go through the middle, and that was it.
Yeah, good racing. There was a lot of lap cars, but man, they was cutting right through them.
Kenny, I want to bring up something that the announcers said last year. So this is what they said. So, on Herm and Schrader, we try to talk about things that are talked about in the pits. When you look at the grandstands out there at Vado, there's nobody there. There's maybe 25 people. But last year on the broadcast, I don't know if it was Ben Shelton or who, but they said, as you can clearly see, the only way this works is sponsorship. I want you to speak to the sponsorship and the TV viewership. I mean, how does that? I want to hear it from you, because you owned a racetrack for a long time. How does that event work if nobody's in the grandstands?
Well, obviously, you just need X number of hours to come in. You're going to have a substantial amount come in through the back gate, which is the participants. I don't know if they had entry fees out there or not, but if you got ballpark 150 cars and they're all bringing 3 or 4 people a car, plus some other people that just prefer to go in the pits, you've got a pretty substantial back gate, plus the sponsorship, plus the TV rights, whatever they're able to sell a TV for. So someone like Flo would pay them to the right to broadcast it, thinking that they're going to be able to sell sponsorship and have enough people purchase it. So everything works for everybody. Yeah. But that show has been out there enough years and continues to grow. And it's the first week of January. And everybody's sitting at home.
Broke.
And, but hey, Christmas is over stuff, because they run again this week. They run Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. And it's like people are going to watch it. I mean, people want to watch some racing. Now, we're going this week to Casa Grande, Arizona, Central Arizona Raceway. We test tomorrow night. Tuesday, and then or we test tonight, I guess. Tuesday, and then we race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they do that for the next 4 weeks out there.
Wow.
So a lot of racing going on. Plus, I mean, January everything starts. There's late model sprint cars, modifieds, all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah. To me, it is an exciting time. I choose to look at things in a positive atmosphere. And, it's kind of weird, right? Racing's failing so bad that the Tulsa Shootout, I don't care the number, they said it was a record amount. These big shows in dirt are getting better. Of course, that's another conversation. We'll go to that another day. Yeah, so that's exciting. Kenny, honorable mention to Talladega. That's been going on a while down there at the Talladega dirt track. What do we call that?
The Ice Bowl.
Ice Bowl. Yeah, I could only keep up so much, but the Ice Bowl happened, and I saw a good sized check for the winner. I don't know, $7,000, whatever it was. Do you know anything about the Ice Bowl?
Oh, yeah, I got some not so good memories about the Ice Bowl. Yeah, there's a reason they call it the Ice Bowl.
Oh,
it was in the low 40s at Vado. But the Ice Bowl, Talladega Short Track, the racing has been better at the short track since they, well, first off, ownership's changed, and they built a wall around it now. I don't know for sure if it's in 3 and 4, but it's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it's in 3 and 4.
Why did they do that? Why did they put that wall up there? Insurance reason or hoping to pack a cushion? What do you know?
I have to get back with you.
Yeah, right.
But I've heard that track races altogether different.
Yeah, I bet it does. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Man, oh man, NASCAR hot topics. That was a lot. Dirt racing. That was a lot. All right, now we go to scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is what I mean. It's just a lot of everything. and believe it or not, people love this part of the show because what I'm trying to say is what we just did was we gave our thoughts on what everybody watched. So they kind of know what happened, but we gave our thoughts. And people tell me the next thing is, people want to hear. So, we got, we're letting the driver of the week, we're going to let that lay. You did say, how are we going to do driver of the weeks if we don't have racing full fledged? But should we do a driver of the week or should we let that go?
Well, first off, was it last week? The week before?
Yeah.
There's, it's drivers, and that's another opinion thing.
Yeah.
If we go by money one, Kyle won it because you got $100,000 plus that $2,500.
Yeah. Well, honorable mention, everybody, to James McFadden, hometown hero. So James McFadden, Kyle Larson. Listen. Okay, I'm so glad we just said that because I want your opinion on this. And I think this is important. I've had a lot of people say, okay, looks like NASCAR is in good shape. We have Kevin Harvick with his son Keelan. We have obviously Brexton Busch, who I've watched race and reel. It don't have anything to do with money. I mean, yeah, the car's nice. Listen, people, they're not giving you a trophy for running a piece of junk. Everybody's got good equipment now. I did see something where somebody said, is Brexton winning because he's got good equipment? I'm like, what's the point there? So the point is the kid can drive. And then you got Kyle Larson's son, Owen. We got Wyatt Miller, which is Kelly Earnhardt Miller's child. So we're looking pretty good, aren't we, as far as, the talent?
Forget about every one of them.
Right.
No. I mean, that's great. And they're in the system.
Yeah.
And they got they got their foot in the door when the time comes. But there'll be 1,000 others.
Boy, that's true.
Drivers are the easiest thing to get.
Yeah.
There's drivers.
And
there's good drivers. We just got to keep enough car owners.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. said, Herm, there's thousands of great race car drivers. Not all of them are going to make it to NASCAR. And Kenny, I'm telling you,
not all of them make it to NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this about the Tulsa Shootout, and we will finally put it to bed, and probably the most controversial subject in the history of motorsports. These mom and dads, especially the mothers, they literally, their passion. My kid is the best. They cry. I had one say, quit putting those 4 kids on TV. What about my kid? I'm like, your kid broke a motor. He didn't, these mother and fathers, Kenny, they lose their mind over their kid. I tell them, look, get in line. And Father John told me when Kim and I got married, he said, Kenny, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to be a race car driver, Father John. He said, oh, competition will kill you. And these mom and dads down there at the Tulsa Shootout, they went down there because they're going to put their kid up here and he's going to be the greatest. And my message to all the mom and dads is like what Kenny said, get in line. There's hundreds of you now. So my question to you, Kenny, is how do you stand out?
Win.
Boy, ain't that the truth. When there's 1,000 carts. Yeah, that's the only way. And listen, I'm letting you, I always believe, look, I'll tell you my story. I went up to the TV guy for my sponsor, years ago. I said, put me on TV. My sponsor wants it, put me on TV. And he looked at me and just crushed me. He said, give me a reason to put you on TV.
Right. Win.
Yeah. For all you mother and fathers out there, you're loved, but get in line. I can't, I hear it all the time. My child's 8-year-old and won 12 championships. Go ahead.
When you said all the mother and fathers out there, I didn't think that's where you were going. I thought, you can't say that on TV.
Mother, oh, well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
You could use the same thing. I mean, you could use either words.
Yeah. No, I hear you loud and clear, but sometimes they are. But everybody, we're gonna put that to bed right now. I know your passion. I see mortgage in your homes. Man, take a breath. Okay. All right, Kenny. Now we're finally going to get to where we need to get to.
We would have been there earlier if you wouldn't have went back and started talking more.
I know, but gosh darn it, that's such a great subject. That is such a big subject coming out of the Tulsa Shootout. My buddy Billy Smith, I'm going to call him out right now. He's listening. He wants his son Zane. I mean, he loves it. And they went down there, and I gave Billy a little bit of money. They went down there and could not make a lap. They went there Monday. They went on the racetrack, and the motor went pop, 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 pop. And Zane pulled off the racetrack, and he said, Dad, there's something wrong. And Billy said, no, you had it in the wrong gear. And little Zane, little 8-year-old kid's like, no, Dad, there's something wrong. So they run the race. Sure enough, pop, pop, pop. That's on Monday. They stay there, Kenny, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now they think they got it fixed. Goes out, pop, pop, pop. I said, Billy, you mean to tell me you went to the Tulsa Shootout for 5 days, rented an Airbnb, and never made a lap? He goes, yeah, it was bad. So that's, oh man. Yeah. So, yeah. And there's no practicing except for that very first day. If you got problems, you got to figure it out.
That's why they call it race.
Yeah.
Because all the really good 4-letter words were already used up.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's good. Okay. You got any racing stories, Kenny? Okay, we're done, everybody. We're going to stuff.
Okay, I got a story about Casa Grande. we was out there because we won out there last year. It was in 24, and we won out there in 02 or 3 or something.
Mm.
In late model when they first started it, the winter series. We were let's see, how did this go? We won one night, and let me stop and think about this. I turned over big time. Worst I've ever turned over, maybe except for Talladega. Worst I've ever turned over a stock car.
Yeah.
Neil got into us. We got together and went over the bank, which you can't do now because they got a wall. But went over the bank and turned this ass over. Well, let's see. The night before, we had that night we had blown up practice, unloaded that car, and I turned that car over.
Right.
No, night before we won. Night before we won. Then the next night I turned over, and I mean it was big. And Randy LaJoy had just came over to the shop and put all his bolt on stuff that you can bolt on the regular seat
For the headrest. Yeah.
on my car. And I said, "What the hell are you doing?" He said, "You're going to start wearing it." I mean, it was at lunchtime. I wasn't there. They take the seat out of the car and start putting it on. I said, "Okay." So I tested it. Cracked my helmet about 6-8 inches, or this side, up against the halo bar.
Right.
And the paramedic was there, and comes back to the hauler. He says, "Let me check you out." And I said, "I'm fine." He said, "Let me check you out." And I said, "Okay, let's go up in the truck." Well, I had my helmet, and he said, "I'm assuming you just cracked that here in this wreck, right?" And I said, "Yes, sir." I mean, it was about 8 inches long.
Whoa.
It's here somewhere. Anyway, he said, "You're going to have a hell of a headache tomorrow." I said, "Were you here last night?" He said, "Yeah." "Yes, I was." He said, "You guys kicked their ass." I said, "Yeah." And then we went to the airport bar. I woke up today, so I can't. It's just continuation of headache. Maybe for a reason, but just continuation.
Oh my God, I love that. That's the greatest punchline of all time. Yeah. I I have a headache this morning because we drank too much last night.
Yeah, it was big.
Speaking of that, first of all, that was a good punchline. You're the best at telling jokes because you know how to pause. You pause and you lead us right to the
But I didn't
punchline.
remember
Yeah.
what I didn't remember how it happened because I hit my head
Yeah. Wow.
numerous times.
Do you think that Randy LaJoy stuff helped?
Oh, I know.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, we put it on all the cars after that. LaJoy is, he's like, he's up there with like Bill Simpson.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to Randy LaJoy. Randy, you have
Yeah,
definitely you deserve every medal that they give out because you have saved the sport. There's no telling how many head injuries Randy
yeah,
has saved that would have happened without Randy LaJoy. One of the greatest.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this stuff that he put on the car, it wasn't one of his seats, but he's made that stuff for you. You can put it on someone else's seat too if you don't have one of his. But yeah, it's good stuff.
My NASCAR story. It doesn't even have to be a NASCAR story, but it is one. So I win. I finally win. I didn't win much, but I won in 1991. Won the Bud 300 at Loudon, and we get home, and the man in black, Dale Earnhardt Sr., calls me. He says, "Come to my Deerhead shop for lunch," and I'm like, "Okay." So excited. Go up to Dale Sr.'s shop, and he's got spaghetti and salad for me right there. And I eat it by myself as Tony Uri Jr., Sr. They're working on one of the black number 3s. And he made reference. He says, "You finished it off." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, a lot of young drivers, when they're, it's hard to run those last 3 laps. And he says, you got to get that nerve to finish the wins off. He says, you made that last pit stop, you won the race. It made me feel like $1 million. So later on, he invited me over. There was kind of a late lunch. He says, okay. He says, let's get in this white van and let's go through my property. Now, this is a brand new white van from Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet.
Going through trees, and I've been down, done that.
Okay, so you did it, and I don't know why Senior enjoyed doing it, but it had the sticker price on the window, and I'll never forget. He says, "Now we're having a couple beers, and of course you're on his property. You're not out with the general public." And he says, "Get that little 5-gallon bucket." And Senior had those little quirks. He said, "I don't want to catch an empty can of beer in my new van here." I said, "Okay." So you drink a beer and you'd pour the empty, right? You'd put it in the 5-gallon bucket. And we're riding along on his 300-acre property. He's got, as we all know, he's got deer pests. We know a little bit of the story, but I'm telling you mine because you have one. Same thing. And he's got that white van, brand new white van. He goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to put a road right here." And I mean, turns right into the woods. Like there's no road. And we're like, what in the world? down through the middle of the woods. And I got some of my boys with me, because the boys came and ate spaghetti and salad with me. And there's a log laying across. He goes up and over that log, and we get high centered. We can't get off this log. So he does the old, how we learned in the snow here. He does the old reverse drive. So reverse drive. Kenny, he about burned the damn transmission out of this thing. But finally, Senior got that thing off that log through the woods, and we're laughing. And that just showed the tenacity of Dale Senior.
That's why he's got to build a road there.
So the punchline is, it's like, this is devastation. We're in this brand new van from Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, and he's going. And then when we finally make it, he goes, "Anyway, that's where I'm gonna put a road."
Yeah.
Never forget that as long as I live. Okay, we both had a good story. You had a good punchline. Let's go here. All right.
Hey,
Yep.
I gotta go off track here.
Go ahead. That's what we do.
Over the holidays,
Yeah.
our St. Louis group, we lost a hero.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, you go, Kenny.
Donnie Klein. I was a Donnie Klein fan. When I was just 7, 8 years old. Donnie raced until, I don't know. I don't remember. I read it the other day, but Donnie raced for years. Won so many races, so many championships. Fan favorite. Never no controversy. I mean, wasn't in the middle of nothing. He just good guy. Him and his wife Blanche used to get off work Friday afternoons, leave his house, go up, take a ferry across the Mississippi River to go that ferry down by I guess St. John. It's right in St. Take a ferry across the river, come up on Highway 3 and go to Belleville. And they'd run 3 nights a week. I learned so much from Donnie. Forever. A huge Donnie Klein fan. But we lost him. He's 86, I think.
It is of my opinion that the reason you are the way you are, and the reason you are adamant about racing as long as you can, is because of Don Klein. You have a picture in your shop of Don, and
uniforms the other day.
Wow, that's big.
Kids, Donnie signed it for me. It was like a couple months ago. but he's I mean, he's the perfect example of what a grassroots hero was. Just such a good guy. Built his own cars, set his own cars up, towed his own cars. What I really learned a lot about Donnie Klein is what you do after the race.
Boy, can they drink. That whole
Oh,
family. The whole family. and,
yeah.
and I want to say this polite, Kenny. They were never drunks. They went to work the next morning. His car was $1 million. They all wore beautiful white uniforms. They were perfect. More, they were right, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they did everything right. And I remember being a kid at a little Ford single cab truck, which that's what you had. You know, that's what everybody had. And a little open trailer behind it. And Blanche always sat right next to him. But it had a half barrel in the back of the pickup.
You know, you bring up a good point. In the day, the girlfriend used to sit right next to the boyfriend. So you have a pickup truck, you have a bench seat. And instead of the man's driving it, instead of the girlfriend or the wife being over here, back in the day, the lady slid over and sat next to her sweetie. And Blanche would do that, right? I mean, she said, yeah. Even though there might, she did that even when there wasn't a third person in the front seat. I don't see that anymore. Maybe there's no bench seats. Maybe that's, yeah.
Yeah, bench seats and you wear seatbelts and stuff now.
Those were the good old days when we didn't wear seatbelts. Okay. Yeah, that was a good one, Kenny. God bless and prayers to Dandy Don Klein. How many feature wins? He had a lot. He won everything. Lots, hundreds and hundreds. So St. Genevieve, Missouri. And they would slide. Now, St. Genevieve was right there, and they would get on that ferry and go right across the Mississippi and be on that Illinois side.
You didn't come up 55. You had to go up 61, 67. So you know how long that took.
Yeah. Boy, when I think about it, now this is for a lot of our locals, everybody. Dandy Don, he's an hour south of me, right here, right at it. And he did that every week. I mean,
yeah, they run that. A lot of years they run Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Think about trucking up there from St. John to St. Charles. You got no 55 or 270
on a Sunday, knowing you got to go to work on a Monday. Now that's a racer. That's a racer. I think that's why that's kind of instilled in me and you. You guys are crazy. All right, we're going to end like this. Joke. We put our jokes to the end in case they bomb. We don't want to, because they were bombing earlier. We're going to start out with the best one right away. This is so damn funny. I told Kenny before we started. All right, here's the way the joke goes. I'm a good man. I give half my money to charity. And when she's not working, I give it to Candy.
I like that.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. The second one here. What did the fish say when it bumped into the wall? Damn. Oh, you got it.
Oh, yeah. Like in 5th grade, I got it.
Oh, my God. Okay. This one I put third because I didn't like it very much. Because like you say, some of our jokes, they really, really stretch.
Really?
They're cliches. What do you call an angle that got into a car crash? What do you call an angle that got into a car crash? A rectangle. I mean, are these even, people are stretching for jokes nowadays. Because, I mean, okay, what a show. Okay.
I don't see us talking more, making this better. I just don't help.
Come on, people. Give us some better jokes. I'm assuming Charlie, from now on, just go to jokes on Google and give us some like jokes. We can find these jokes. We can't keep telling them if they're, but the candy one was really good.
That was good.
That was
good.
really, okay. How are you going? Let's leave like this. I'm sure the road somehow will, it's 20 degrees outside, 25. How are you going to eat lunch today? What are you going to do?
I'm going to get in my vehicle and drive down to the restaurant.
And they're going to be open. That's awesome. Okay, everybody, listen. That was the first Herm and Schrader show of 2025. Kenny Schrader's headed to Arizona. I'll be around here for a little bit. All right, everybody. Until the next Herm and Schrader show, we'll see you next time.
All right, buddy.